This morning on KVU Daybreak, thousands are in town for weekend 2 of Austin City Limits Festival, and they're ready for the days ahead, come rain or shine. Plus, it's game day. The countdown clock for UT against Iowa State is ticking, and our sports guys are live there to watch it all go down. And the busy weekend ahead is raising some concerns about safety for today and tomorrow. Good morning. Thanks so much for watching KVU Weekend Daybreak. I'm Dominique Newland.
And I'm your man, meteorologist Jordan Darrensburg. It's 9 a.m. Happy Saturday. We're 2 hours away from the Cyclones being put to sleep by the University of Texas. I can't wait to see what UT can do as part of their revenge tour. And it'll be a muggy one for their revenge tour as well. Okay. And we're going to take a nice live look outside. That is DKR right there on the 40 acres. Starting to see a little bit of fogging there, and that's because we have that low cloud cover. And we're mainly going to be hovering around those lower 70s across the entirety of the KVU viewing area. Right now at Camp Mabry, though, we are in those mid 70s with those cloudy skies, and that's because of the humidity levels. The dew points are in those lower 70s, and we're in those low to mid 70s. So the air is almost completely saturated, which is why we are seeing that cloud cover pop on up, and no one is below 70 now, mainly low to mid 70s across the entirety of the KVU viewing area. And by the time we get to 11 a.m., sky should clear out just for a little bit as that cloud cover mixes out, but then we'll get those clouds building back in by the time the game comes to an end between the Longhorns and the Cyclones. Highs today afterwards are going to be in those lower 90s, so if you're heading out to ACL, make sure you are drinking plenty of that water and limiting your alcohol intake. Also, take your allergy medicine because ragweed and pigweed are in the high category again. Fall elm and grass are in the low, so you do get a reprieve from that if you're allergic to those. But mold is in the high, and that's because of the added humidity. Mold thrives with those humidity levels, and we'll start to see the rainfall affect that as well as we head throughout the course of the weekend into early next week. I'll time all of that out for you, including possibly 1 or 2 strong storms in just a little bit. So really interesting dynamic we've got late Sunday into Monday.
Yeah, we do. All right. Thanks so much, Jordan. We'll check back in with you in a few. Well, Austin City Limits Weekend 2 is here, and Zilker Park will be blocked off for just 2 more days for those folks who live downtown. Hang in there as artists take the stage. Last night was, of course, another legendary night with Omar Apollo, Phoenix, SZA, Lucky Day, and the Chicks. And today the fun continues with performances by Flume, Diplo, and Pink. It's not too late to go if you're interested. Tickets still available online starting at $145, so maybe you can do the UT game in the morning and then dance the night away at Zilker. Sounds like a good plan. Well, the Austin Police Association say with this busy weekend ahead, they're pretty concerned about officer staffing. With ACL and the UT home game happening today, union representatives tweeted that the department is at, quote, critical staffing levels. According to the most recent data from APD, the department has about 220 vacancies right now, and there are about 56 cadets in this year's cadets class. They're set to graduate on November 18th. There's another potential hiccup this weekend. You heard Jordan say it a few minutes ago, rain chances. And that possible chance for rain hangs over tomorrow's performances, and fans are already beginning to prepare. Some shared with KVU yesterday they plan to bring an umbrella despite them being on the prohibited items list. ACL officials had to cancel the event in 2013 after rain and some flooding across the festival grounds. Take a look at some of that video. Austinites say that wasn't the last time weather caused some problems at the festival.
A couple years ago, there was a year called the Mud Year where everything was just crazy. There was torrential downpour, lots of mud.
Ooh, that does not sound fun. ACL representatives don't have a current weather policy listed online, but fans say they won't let the rain get them down. They'll be doing the rain dances. Thousands of people were out enjoying the sunny skies during the first day of weekend 2 at ACL. And with such a large crowd, the Austin Parks Foundation is encouraging festival goers to keep Zilker Park clean and recycle. Attendees can get a trash bag and collect aluminum cans, and they can turn it in and get a festival t-shirt. About 1,000 bags are collected each day of the festival and end up going to a recycling center. This year, the festival is also using reusable cups Every night when things wrap up, coordinators use a contracted company to help out with cleanup efforts.
Every night it gets cleaned up into the wee hours of the night, and then after the festival's over, there's a more substantial cleanup effort, and then obviously the restoration of the park, which goes on for some weeks after the festival is over.
Tomorrow marks the final day of the festival, which means time to take down stages and pack up until next year. Time now, 9:05, and you're taking a live look over DKR Stadium this morning. That is where the Longhorns will take on Iowa State in just a few more hours. So you know what that means? The stadium will be packed with a lot of fans really soon. A lot of people out there and tailgating. Sports director Jeff Jones and Cory Mose are already there right now, and you guys promised us more details on this revenge tour. I'm ready for it. Give me the deets.
We're ready to give those details to you, Dominique. The Revenge Tour might be the coolest season motto I've heard in a while. Sure. It's one that the UT team has really bought into, and for good reason. You know, the Revenge Tour continues tonight. We already saw UT get payback on a few teams that beat them last season, but tonight's game against Iowa State, or today's game against Iowa State, that we're about 2 hours away from, should be very important to this team because the Cyclones beat the Longhorns 30-7 last season. It was their biggest margin of defeat in all of 2021. Now, the Revenge Tour is called a tour and not just a revenge game because it has multiple stops. Cory, we're about halfway through this thing.
That's for sure. Someone would say, OU may have been like the headliner for the tour, maybe. This may be the nightcap, Iowa State. But yes, they got to go against they get revenge on 6 of the last 7 teams that beat them last year. And to be able to do that is something that they put in as a goal at the beginning of the year. And so you got West Virginia checked off, OU checked off, now Iowa State, the Cyclones. Will they get checked off today? We'll see in a couple hours.
You know what, people have asked me about this Revenge Tour because a lot of people who have heard the name of the season, the slogan of the season, like it as much as I do. Yeah. And the question they asked me is, who came up with that title? Who came up with that mantra? And it was the head man in charge, head coach Steve Sarkisian. He talked to us about why that mantra or slogan or motto was necessary this year.
You know, every year you're always trying to find the right buttons to push, emotionally, psychologically for your team. Inevitably, there's a lot of these games that we're going back into to play these same teams. And there's got to be a little bit of sense of revenge, and not so much revenge on the opponent, revenge our own actions of how we performed in those moments in those games to ultimately go finish those ball games.
Team, do remember that Iowa State game last year as a sad, disappointing memory. There's one guy who walked away from that game last year with a win. We'll tell you all about him, an Iowa State transfer who's now playing for Texas. A little later in the show. It's early in the morning, Dominique. We're going to take a little break and get some coffee and come back with our words and with a great story for you.
That's just what you have to do on a Saturday morning. Just start the caffeine early. Thanks so much, guys. There you go. Tomorrow, Austin FC will play in their first playoff game ever. They'll face Salt Lake right here in town at Q2 Stadium. And if you're going to this game, it's recommended that you use Cat Metro, a rideshare service like Uber or Lyft, or scooters to avoid traffic. And if you can't get to the stadium, you can watch that historic playoff game right here on KView. Our coverage of the Verde and Black starts at 1:30, with the game kicking off at 2 o'clock. Well, the announcement many have been waiting for is here. The student loan forgiveness application is officially open. We're showing you exactly where to go to make sure your debt decreases as soon as possible. But first, after more than 100 times in court, officials discovered one man isn't who they think he is. Now those he's claimed to help are facing charges. Stay with us.